Hi there, this is Amy. Thanks so much for stopping by. I hope that you had a nice holiday. I am going to try to get at least one video, which would be this one, squeezed in before the end of the year. I am going to try to make a pact for next year that I get more consistent on my videos, but tonight I'm going to be doing a similar painting pattern to this one. Again, it will not be identical, it will be similar. On this particular design, though, I will not be transposing it to glass, just doing it on the black cardstock. If you have any questions, comments, please leave those below. If you like my channel, please make sure you're subscribing so that you get my newest videos when they are uploaded. And like and share. If you know of anybody that might be interested in my paintings, please make sure that you share those so that they would be able to view the videos as well. Tonight I will be using Thicket Green, Autumn Leaves, Berry Wine, Licorice, Wicker White, Crushed Coral, Pure Orange, and Italian Sage. The Italian Sage and the Thicket will be what I use on my leaves, and then Fire Engine Red. Now this particular, actually I think I'm using the Folk Art Enamel Glass in my lineup here. This one is the wood for the Engine Red. But obviously for painting glass I would be using the Folk Art Enamels, which is the glass paint. I will be using a large round brush, a number 10 flat brush, a very crazy, looks like 1/4 Scruffy brush, it's well used, and then a liner brush, which is the number 0 in the fingernail brush painting area for the Dewberry designs. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Again, this is the black cardstock. I'm going to do 3 flowers, and I'm just randomly placing them, not really centering them per se, but randomly placing them on my cardstock. And then I'm going to just go around and paint some of these strips of paint in each color, and then just keep building on it with my other colors. And I'm trying to just randomly, they're not going in the same direction per se, just being a little bit maybe whimsical with them. I don't have to do the same amount of strips either. It's not necessary in this design. Meaning, you know, there's the same amount of each color in each flower. Another kind of a wild variety of colors, and that is intentional, not an error. And I'm trying to scruff off some of the paint as I proceed to my next color, which this would be the Berry Wine, because I'm not trying to get it to look like one stroke or a double-loaded brush. Now, if for some reason it comes off looking like that, that's fine, but I'm choosing to wipe it off in between to minimize that. And as you can see, the strokes that I'm doing are just really kind of random. And the reason for that is just to add some fun to it. Just make it a fun flower and not something that's really precise as far as the design itself. So I'm going to continue on. Now I'm adding the Engine Red. I did do some samples using the filbert brushes with these because they do automatically have the round brush, but then I decided to try just the round brush itself. And think I liked it the best. But your flower will be very full once you get all the colors in. And like I said, I have no intentions of making these look identical, but similar. This is pretty much how I roll. And if you're someone that has to have the same amount, has to be exact, then do that as you wish. I just don't happen to be that kind of person, so it can be random. I kind of like random. And you can just push and pull. You can kind of twist it a little bit as you're pulling it in, like that. Or just pull straight back. You can touch, pull. You can leave a space in between some of the petals. They don't have to be butting right up to each other. In fact, I kind of prefer to be kind of random, to where in some places they butt up to each other and then in some they don't. I ended up having a pretty nice holiday. Like I said, I hope that you all did too. And if you want to let me know any kind of fun stuff that you got for Christmas that maybe you were really surprised and weren't expecting from Santa, feel free to indicate that below in the comments. If you've tried any of my paintings, I'd love to see pictures. If you have any thoughts on the painting that I'm doing, please make a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. Do my best to answer you as quickly as I can. I'm going to go ahead and throw that in here. Again, all my paintings that I'm doing are intended to be easy, just so that most people can actually give them a try. I mean, if you don't want to give them a try, that's absolutely fine, not a problem. If you do give them a try, I really would love to see your work, see what you come up with. If you've ever been to any of those painting classes where, the canvas painting, you'll notice that not two look alike, which is awesome. And I think it's really, oh, that one came out, too much paint on it, which I think is awesome. I love the fact that you just see a variety of, how the perception that people have, and the abilities obviously are not all the same from one person to the next, which is fine. But just how different each person sees stuff. We're looking at the same picture, but what we come up with is so different from one another. This is a pretty funky flower, but that's by intent. It's supposed to be, as I mentioned. Some may say, oh my goodness, what are you doing? Like I said, it's on purpose. I'm going to go ahead and put in my centers with my Scruffy brush. It's just the Licorice, nothing fancy. I'm just kind of going around like this, and it's wet on wet. Paint below is still wet, and this, I'm not drying any of it. You can make the centers big or little. I kind of like them to be bigger on this flower. And as you're viewing these are pretty much straightforward looking at the flower. They're not side views or anything like that. Next, I'm going to use double load my brush with the Thicket. This is the flat brush with the Thicket and the Italian Sage to start putting in my leaves. Now, when you're putting in your leaves, if you want them to all be the same kind, which is pretty much what I'm doing here, you can do that. You can add a variety of different styles of leaves. You don't have to stick with just, the same the same style that I'm doing. You can rotate the colors where some of them have dark on the outside, some of them have the dark on the inside and the lighter color on the outside. However you want to do it, perfectly fine. And like I said, I am a big leaf person, so if you don't want as many leaves on your flower design as I do, great. Not a problem. And this is just basically double loading, and then again, like I said, now I'm going to overlap some of these, trying to make them stretch out a little bit, not stubby. And you're just basically pulling and lifting. Now you can try to connect to the little vine from before and go like that. I do like that look. You don't have to have the same stem coming off of the flower. You can have each single leaf have their own stem coming off from the flower. And I just picked up some of the flower color, which again is fine. You know, if you don't like it, then you cover over it. With paint being wet, you're doing wet on wet, you have that tendency to do that, or that risk maybe, if you consider it that. And this is what I'm going to show you. I'm going to do two separate. They're going to be kind of in the same or similar area. This one needs some more. This one's got a lot more darker green in it. I'm so excited too. I've fallen in love with watercolor painting. I've always had an interest in it, but I really have found some neat people on YouTube that do it, and I have just really been watching a lot of videos on it and trying it, so I'm hoping that's something else that I can begin to work on and teach as well. Yeah, I just like painting in general. Definitely. And I love flowers, which is why that's what I paint. That's my thing. And I guess I didn't realize, I mean, I knew growing up I should say, and that my mother always loved flowers. Had a lot of flowers in her house, and I guess it wasn't until this year when we were cleaning out their house that I discovered how much she really did like flowers, because there was just so many, you know, dried flowers, plastic flowers, that kind of thing, and a lot of floral wallpaper and throughout our house. It's like, well, that must be where my love of flowers came from. That's where I'm pulling it from, apparently. And she wasn't a painter of flowers, but she did do a lot of design work, and that was a main focus for her in her work. I'm not a big one on painting characters. It's just not my style, even though I like around a lot of characters since I babysit my grandchildren and know about a lot of characters as far as their interests go. And monsters. I kind of like monsters. I'd like to maybe do something with that someday. Alright, so I'm getting to where I'm pretty full with my leaves. I'm almost finished with those. And again, I chose on this to do the same style of leaf. Just see how easy it is to go back over your work. And if you want to make it darker, if you need it to be more opaque, or say you got a line that didn't quite cover up the way you thought it should, it's so easy to go back over it and do it again or fix it. Make yourself happy. And the way I look at painting is if you like it, that's what matters. Is if you're happy with it. And I feel bad. Sorry that I haven't posted videos for a bit. It's just trying to get ready for Christmas and all. It's just so time consuming. And I'll tell you one thing, I'm so glad. I mean, I'm for some reason this year I'm not really glad that it's over. It's kind of weird because I've had such a hard time with the holidays for so long because of my mom passing. But I'm finding that this year in particular, it's just not, I don't feel that way. And you would think since I just lost my father in May that I would truly have an issue with it, but I don't. Grandkids have definitely helped me with this. My excitement for them, I think, has helped. It was the 5-year anniversary of my mom passing on the 19th of December. And then, like I said, my dad passed in May. So it's a first without him. And, we buried her on the 23rd of December. So that I kind of felt like Christmas would never be the same again. Alright, on this one I'm not doing quite as twirly as of vines as I did on the other one, which is fine. I'm going to take my little liner brush, and you can do this with a bigger brush too if you wish. This one's not going to show up. I'm going to intermix it with some of this. And then you just kind of go along. I'm just kind of tapping, pulling, and just tapping and pulling. Tap, pull, tap, pull, tap. And I can go back in and add some of the sage to make it stand out a little bit more. Make it more visible. You can make them a rounder petal if you wish. Like I said, with the way I'm doing them, it'll just be more tap and pull, so it'll be not so round, more of elongated type petal. These are kind of like filler leaves, if you wish. You can make it really full, or you can just do a little bit. Whatever look you're trying to achieve is fine. Be big, small. But you can see if you were to stop once you've painted its flowers and these bigger leaves, it just would be kind of like, okay, well, that's nice. But throwing in some of these other filler leaves, I would call them, I think it adds some dimension to it. You can kind of just go over the top of what you've already painted, or kind of beside it. And whatever you choose to do, it can be kind of out from it too. It doesn't have to be right off the vine itself. Yeah, the thing I need to do now is sell some of my painted glass, because I've got a ton of it now from doing videos. So I need to figure out, everybody seems to like the glass painting videos, but I had to figure out something to do with the glass because I'm running out of storage, for one. That could be a problem. Okay, we'll just keep going here. And I threw some in here just to kind of give it a, kind of center it a little bit. I like the twirly branches, so, and if you want to do them that way, which is what I did on my sample when I was practicing this, you know, go ahead, knock yourself out. I don't know what your weather is like where you're at, but our weather is just, we've had so much rain this year. Not enough that really truly calls flooding per se, but it's just like, I think we've had more rain this year than we've had days without it. I could be wrong, but it sure feels like that. And right now it's raining again, and then it's supposed to be close to 60. But I think we're going to have rain, which means I can't get outside with my grandkids when I'm babysitting them. Alright, and then I'm just going to throw towards the top part of the vine just a little bud. I'm going to throw a few of these in. And I'm just kind of using the same strokes really that I did with the leaves. And I think over here I'm just going to do it over here. And you don't have to do this part if you don't want. It's just kind of a random bud. And just doing the little strokes like I did with the leaves, but more in a cluster. Trying to pull on some of these different colors. I'm getting on there. It's a vibrant colors. I'm trying to use like floral pictures to paint from, give me inspiration. And that's where I came up with this. And then I'll just do one more bud. Now if you wanted to go ahead and add in some green around this, you can do that too, which would be more typical of a bud. Would actually have greenery up around it more than likely. There's a lot of orange. So there's some red in this one. Alright, again, I'm getting close to the end of this video. Just remember, if you like my work, please like, share it, comment. Love to hear from you. And just make sure that you put a little bit of white. Put a little bit of white in. And none of this was created with any kind of stoppage as far as letting them dry or whatnot in between. So that's what I'm saying, is just go back in with some green. Load it in. It's kind of randomly, just like you did the petals on the flower. Get that one pretty thick. figure out my next video design. I'm not washing my brush up in between, so if you or someone that pulling in these other colors bothers you, then wash off your brush in between. But for the point of the video, as many of you know, I try not to do too long of videos. Alright, and I think that's it. I hope you like it. Again, please let me know if you have any questions, comments. If you do a sample of this, I'd love to see it. It's always fun to share your artwork, and I do appreciate you stopping by. So until the next video, have a good evening. If I don't get back to you before the beginning of the year, Happy New Year. Have a safe one, and until the next video, take care.